we're just going to kind of put this segment in there because, I don't know, when we filmed before, I never could really film anything that I really thought was, good. So we're just kind of dovetailing this all together different. We're not at the Muck Arena. So anyway, just try to hang with me because what I'm going to say, what I'm going to teach right now in this segment is something really, I think, totally different. For some of you, it'll be really far out there because sometimes we have, seat of our pants type riders, and then sometimes we have riders that really want to make a plan, okay? Being a teacher, I always wanted to have a plan. And so this was kind of, my idea of that plan. Well, so in my mind, I had to find a way to think about the turn. So that when I thought about the barrel racing, I could think about the turn. So this is probably really different for a lot of you, but I don't know. You're going to have to kind of think about this and see, what you can incorporate or what would make, some difference to you in your program. But when you rodeo, you go from arena to arena to arena. Well, sometimes the alleyway is where it should be in the middle, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes the ground can be good, and sometimes not. So this is on that premise of going from arena to arena to arena. And so I can show you how to mentally own every arena that you go to. And so kind of here's my thought. That first flower dot out there is, I don't know if Murray can zoom the camera, but I put a pole up across the way there as to where my timer's going to be. So there's my timer. Now I am going to walk back. If you'll swing it back around, there we go. I am going to walk towards that timer. And so what that does is it creates an angle on my approach to the first barrel. How do I mentally own an arena that I have not been in before? Because you watch enough barrel racing video, how you come out of that alleyway, sometimes people are beat. They are outrun when they come out of that alleyway. They don't even have to cross the timer, they're already beat. Because this approach and the one we're teaching, this approach, now the timer's having to time the distance along with the speed, and now I have a much straighter approach, thus the dot, to be able to make my line coming out of that alleyway the same line on every arena. So how did you learn your times tables? 5 times 5, 3 times 4, 12 times 12, 9 times 8, 7 times 6. How did you learn that? Well, it just got to be a memory thing. You saw it enough that you had to memorize it. I know with today's calculators and all of that, kids don't have to learn timetables, but we sure did when I was a kid. But that's how we learned it, just talking about how do you learn something. Okay, so I'm looking at my timer. I'm going to take 5 steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, towards my timer. And then that tire that's back there is kind of the center of the alleyway. So even though this is a big open place, we have marked what we feel like is the center. And so now I'm going to walk 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so I'm right here at my little flower place, 15 feet out and 15 back to the center of the alleyway. Now, if I go over this spot every time I run barrels, it's the same number of strides. It's the same kind of turn. The horse is going to be able to use themselves in every way, the same all the time, that consistency. And so in that consistency, I might not win first place every time, because I don't know anybody that does that, but I sure want to be in the money, somewhere in that money about every time. Sometimes you don't always get that done either, but the more consistent I become with my approach, the more consistent my first barrel is. And so now I'm having a first barrel that is the same whether I'm indoors, same outdoors, same in the big pens, same in the little pens. It's pretty much all the same. Okay? If I would step over, let's call that 3 feet, I get a whole different approach to that barrel. Because somewhere out here, the horse or the rider decides, oh, I've got to move that way. And so sometimes they just kind of straighten everything up and move that way. So from my flower point, my entrance point into this turn, if this is what I practice, 5 times 5, 6 times 8, 4 times 4, if I practice this, you know what, I become consistent with it. And if I just let my brain flutter here, you know, a lot of people get to the barrel race and they don't have a plan. They don't have a mental game. And so what if the girl in front of you falls down and falls off? What if the girl in front of you sets an arena record time and you're next? See, if you don't have a plan, you get caught up in all that. And so here we are at my entrance point into this turn. My horse is going to have the same number of strides to this second point, which is about 10 feet out. Okay, so then I've got to move to the third point, which is really about, I don't know, it could be 5.5 feet from the barrel. But at this point, see, I've been really straight in my saddle. I have left the alleyway. I have run to this point right here between my 2 barrels, and I am square. My shoulders, my hips, the way my legs are in the saddle, all of this is square. Well, if I stay square, I'm coming right to you. But I don't need to be square, because now I kind of have to break off of this line and pick up a transitional move into my turn. Okay, so how do I do that? How do I do that? We teach stepping out. So I want you to watch my pelvis, because good riders will always ride good horses. Why will those horses always be good? Because the good riding makes them good. That's how they're always good. Good riding creates good horses. Bad riding can even take the best of horses, and that horse will not be able to reach his potential, because he's got to kind of put up with some bad riding or some bad thinking. So here's my pelvis. If you read the good riding books, they'll tell you, you ride them from your knees, really kind of up under your armpit. So that the bridle has a very small thing to do with it, a little bit, but not near as much emphasis on the bridle. I mean, you have to have the right one, but if I would put more emphasis on my step out, watch, And now I'm in that saddle, I'm square, right here between the two first and second barrel. I don't want to come to you, I've got to get into that transition. So when I step out, you see my pelvis now is pointed at my third point right there. And so good hands and body language. Good hands. Now body language. Step out this way. I go to this point here beside the barrel. Now this is the part that's the actual turn to me, because I have run from that second point to the third point. The horse has rated. He's really bent those hocks, got down in the ground and rated. But those are still straightaway strides. So I can't call it the turn, because when his hip, now here I am and the rest of the horse is out in front, but when his hip gets to the barrel, watch my feet, he's going to go 1, 2, 3, push. So there's 3 steps back here. Well, now I come out of this turn straight and in line to my first barrel. So the point of the stepping out is to shift my weight and my pelvis in the saddle. So if I add some of my weight to that outside back push foot, I make him stronger. He gets stronger. He's able to push on his feet harder, because now I have more weight on this outside and on that rear back, that left back, and he's going to rate. When he rates, my hand is going to be right up there on that neck, and I am going to just kind of hold that thought as he comes up in here. Really, that'll be maybe 2 strides for the horse, or 1 to this point. And then as he turns, as he makes that turn stride, I'm going to hold that rein up on that neck. And then when I'm here and I roll my wrist, now watch my body. And so as I finish from right behind the barrel to here, my body is now pointing at the second barrel. And sometimes when the hands are out here, or the hands have dropped below the saddle horn, what is that? It's a blah, 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 blah. It's a movement without no information in it. And so this happened so quickly, all of my movement has to have information. I can't just flop around here in the saddle and throw my hands around and be a part of the team. And so when I'm practicing, this is pretty much what I want. Now we're gonna get horseback and finish it up. And the third stride, like if you can break this down, when that hip is here, if you see that timer, those front feet need to land between the timer and the alleyway. So when he's coming in, that's where I need to see those front feet landing. Boom. The next stride is almost at the timer on the other side of the arena. And then the third stride, the front feet should land right beside the barrel. And so that's how you work on those 3 strides. And the whole time that horse is making those strides, you are stepped out, you have your rein up Not pulling on the bit, but just kind of laying. See, I'm laying, I'm not pushing. I'm laying the rein on the neck to just kind of hold them in there. Don't not let them kind of drop that rib cage at you or you know, turn that nose out. Laying that rein on that neck, step out, lay the rein. And then as you get behind the barrel, you roll your wrist and you look up. And I'm looking at the right-hand edge of that barrel. I mean, you wouldn't think it, but there's times when the lighting in an arena, people say, well, why don't you look at the ground, or why don't you look at something else? It's like, you know, that barrel is going to always be there. It's going to always be in the same place there, and I can always depend on it there. So my mind is not searching for some other place or something to look at. My eye, my focus goes to that barrel. When my focus goes to that barrel, what do you think? Hello? I'm telling my horse. I'm telling my horse I'm ready to go there. Mentally, I'm already there because I'm looking at it. And so, you know, practicing the turn, we win barrel races turning. And that 3-step boom, boom, boom with those front feet, working on that, you don't have to have the fastest horse there. You need the most consistent, solid horse there. All right, we're going to get mounted up. Okay, that's my line to the first barrel. Always straight, right from the center of the alley, 10 feet out from the barrel. And it's at this point, I no longer want to go forward towards the camera, but I need to be in control of my horse enough where when I step out, well, that just shows you how easy Hope is to ride. Thank you, Jennifer, for letting me ride her. You just have to, when you're filming, you just have to have a cooperative animal. And so Hope really cooperates and lets us really see and understand and learn from how she's handling herself. And so she's won plenty of money to say that maybe that's one of many ways, but that way works and it looks really good, and it really, you know, has a lot of snap to it and a lot of them pushing on their feet. I mean, the whole time they're pushing on their feet. So anytime you practice and you diminish that, well, then you're not teaching them that they're always pushing on their feet. So I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed riding Hope. Push the subscribe button. Become a part of our little YouTube family, and we just love you and hope you have a really great day. Like it? Yeah.